I went so many years without using earplugs. I just hated the way that these things would just disconnect me from the environment that I was in because I couldn't hear anything. They took away one of my senses, and being able to hear on the water is so important to me, whether that's surfing a big wave and being able to hear what the wave is doing behind me. You know, if it goes quiet, I know that it's building up and it's about to crash on me, or in a rescue situation on a river, I need to be able to hear what's going on, see if any of my friends need help. And the need to be able to hear on the water just overrided any of my fears of ear infections or surfer's ear. And I always used to joke that surfer's ear didn't kill anyone, so why would you spend your time worrying about it? But it's a pretty gross thing to have to go through. They cut your ear off and then they drill the bony growths out of your ear canal and then they stitch your ear back on. It's pretty gross. And I took that stance for so long until one year where I had ear infections in both ears. I couldn't hear anything. Just operating through daily life was hard. It was miserable. And eventually I went to the hospital and got them checked out, and they were like, yeah, both ears are severely infected, but also you've got surfer's ear in both of them, and the left one is like 85% shut and the other one is 80% shut. And I was just like, oh boy. And that led me to look for a set of earplugs and to start using them, and I tried out a range of earplugs across the market, and eventually I stumbled across the original surf ears. And these things were so sick, right? Because they did an amazing job of keeping water out my ears. They were pretty cool looking, they were small and sleek, and best of all, I could hear through these things. It was amazing. It was the product that I had been waiting for all these years. It was awesome, and I highly recommended them. And then recently they just brought out the Surf Ears 3.0, and these things are so sick. You can really tell that this is the second edition of something because everything is just so well thought out, and the small little like niggles and improvement points on the first one have been carried through in this design, and they're just so awesome. So they're even smaller than the first one, so you know, less of a footprint in your ears, less surface area, and you notice them even less when they're in your ear. Same design, with the little catchment point for the top of your ear and then the plug here to keep them in your ear and to keep water out, and the tunnel, which I think is pretty unique for earplugs, but this tunnel here allows sound to go through it, and it's so good. I can hear about 70% of what I would normally hear with these in, which I think is great. That's more than enough for what I need. And I also think it's pretty cool because rivers are so loud. Because rivers are so loud, it's probably not actually a bad idea to have a little bit of like an ear defender going on, you know? Like if you go to a lot of concerts, you're gonna wanna put earplugs in that don't block the sound, but they just tone it down a little bit to stop your ears getting affected. And I think that's honestly a good thing. On top of that, they come on a little leash, which is wicked for not losing them. You can do all sorts of this. Some people put it on their helmets. I just took it down the front of my dry top, and that works pretty well. They also come with a cool little magnetic silicone case with a bunch of different earbuds on for if you've got different sized ears, so you can get the right fit. I immediately lost the case and the earpods. I put the ones on that fitted me. I had the case and the rest of the earpods if I needed them. I don't know where they are. But the case is wicked. Really nice way to keep these things in good condition. I normally just throw them in my life jacket, and I don't know if that's so good for them because I've got a bunch of other like rescue stuff in there, you know, carabiners, knives, and the hard edges are like sort of giving the earplugs a little bit of a hard time, but they're still holding in there, still doing great. If you get a set of these, I definitely keep them in that silicone case because that keeps them in perfect condition. And yeah, so stoked on this product. I honestly, I cannot recommend them enough. They're awesome. There's no downsides to them because you can still hear everything out on the river that you normally would, and I think that's rad. And they also stop you from going through a needless surgery to deal with a surfer's ear, and that's going to keep you on the water for longer. You're not going to have to take 6 weeks off to deal with that operation and the healing process. So that's rad. Surf Ears, thanks so much for making a sick product. I'm stoked on these. Link is in the description to their website if you want to check it out. And no matter what earplugs you use, kids, make sure you use earplugs, because otherwise you're going to have to get your ear cut off and have your ear canal drilled out and then your ear sewn back on, and that just sucks. And I really hope that somehow I can avoid that. Wicked. See you on the water, dudes.